people of the future, welcome to the past. So do you remember last time how Spock kind of phasered me and I kind of died? Well, I'm back now. See, over the course of my lifetime, I have been able to collect 10 extra lives. So I just used 1, now I'm down to 9. And now Plushy Spock is sitting in the corner thinking about what he's done. So this week we're going to be talking about the Hunger Games. Alright, so one of my friends is borrowing my copy of the Hunger Games. Made my own cover for Don't judge me! The Hunger Games is a young adult novel set in post-apocalyptic North America. The United States doesn't exist anymore. Instead, the country of Panem exists. In Panem, there are 12 districts, which are run by a frivolous, extravagant, ruthless capital. Each year the capital randomly chooses one teenage boy and one teenage girl from each of the 12 districts to participate in the Hunger Games. Basically, they put 24 teenagers into this giant arena where there's like trees and tons of stuff and weapons, and they basically make them fight to the death. The second book, Catching Fire, and the third book, Mockingjay, are sort of about like the rebellion that happens in response to the Hunger Games, and it's really interesting. Now, I came across the Hunger Games this summer. I was working at a library. My boss came by me with a bunch of unprocessed copies of the Hunger Games. And she said, "Have you read the Hunger Games, Maddie?" And naturally I said, "No." Then she took the top copy, chucked it at my face, and said, "Read it!" She didn't really say it like that because she's like a super sweet person. So I read it and I literally could not put it down. After I finished it, I wanted to read the second book so badly. Now the third book, Mockingjay, just came out a few weeks ago. The day that it came out, I decided to run to the Borders right as it opened because I thought, oh, there's going to be all these lines there and everything and I won't get a copy and blah. But I got to Borders and no one was there. The people there were obviously like waiting for a giant horde of people to come, and they told me that I was officially the first person to buy a copy that day, and I was excited. I also wore my Hunger Games t-shirt. Down with the capital! So before I tell you why you need to read it, I'm going to tell you the stuff that I don't like about the series, just to get the bad stuff out of the way. I still think that the first book was the best written book of the trilogy. It had the perfect amount of suspense, it had the perfect amount of romance, it had the perfect amount of like horror and terror and all this kind of stuff. There was glamour and there was this and that, and oh, it was so good. In books 2 and 3, Suzanne Collins, the author, by the way, that's the author's name, Suzanne Collins. Thought you ought to know. Now you do. Suzanne Collins takes to like telling more of the story than like showing the story. And for anyone who's taken a creative writing class, the very first thing they tell you is to show the reader what you're talking about and not to tell them what is going on. Suzanne, you are so much better than that. I'm not saying that both of those books are written poorly. In fact, they're really well written. But then again, I'm an English major, so I sort of like pay attention to these things. So you probably won't even care when you read it, but I did. Just saying. But overall, the trilogy is really well written, and it makes you think about things that like you never would have thought about before. It raises a lot of questions, like, is there such a thing as a just war? How far is too far when it comes to war? Is fame worth it? What really matters in this world? It also has the perfect mixture of glamour, horror, action, romance, and science fiction. It's super good, and you really need to read it. When I said science fiction, I wasn't talking about you. You know, not everything is about you, you know. And did I say that you could leave your corner? Go on, go back. That's right. And I don't know where you got that disembodied hand from, young sir, but you're bringing it back to whoever it belongs to. I don't care if you have plans with Kirk tonight, okay? Someone is missing their hand. You need to bring it back to them. He is such a drama queen. I'm gonna look back on this later and I'm gonna be like, why was I doing this halfway through the video? I don't understand.